watching Gov's Radio. This is where you go if you want to see something or if you want to hear something funny. Coming up in just a couple minutes. This is a joke I told. What? I'm not on Gov Radio? Call the police. Call my agent.
Tony, welcome to Go.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
I gotta pat you down though, pal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Got anything on you? Anything I should know?
I got nothing.
Anything weird going on? What? Alright, you go in, Tony. Good.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Tom Kelly of The Tom Kelly Show. Yes, this is not the only time I've gotten on my knees in the back room of a comedy club.
The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. Give Two Eagles Auto Body a call and please ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. That's 516-328-2527.
Hey, how do you say there, people? It's Johnny Brennan, creator of the Jerky Boys, also of Fox TV's Family Guy fame. I just want to let you know you're listening to Tony on the Knockem Dead Radio Show. They're gonna keep knocking them dead, so keep listening, you wacky sons of bitch. Right there. Over and out there, sweet Charlie.
Long time no see, man. Hey, man, I miss you guys, man, at Knockem Dead Comedy Radio.
Hey Tony, you're not funny, and you probably shit yourself a lot, and you're no fun to be with, and you don't make that much money, and you're not going anywhere in show business, and I hope you get hit by a bus.
Hello!
Do it like that.
Hello!
Yeah, like that.
Hello!
Not like that.
No, that was awful.
The one you did when I wasn't.
Hello!
Okay, save it for when it's on.
Sorry.
God, you know, I turned off the microphone, and you're like, gold. I turn the microphone on, I get ah. Seriously, ready?
Hello! That was an idiot. Damn it. Hello!
That was it!
Alright, this is the one. Hello!
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
So yeah, do it like hey. All right, you ready for hey?
Hey.
Now.
Hello. Hey.
Knockem dead. Comedy show.
Hello.
Do it like that.
Well, hello. It's summertime. There are 2 flies flying around this room. And things still aren't working. Business as usual here at Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. Hi, everybody. It's the Knockem Dead Comedy Show coming at you live from the legendary Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, where you can see some great shows this weekend. The Knockem Dead Comedy Troupe. You get plenty of opportunities to see us as well. John Rusciello, good morning. So happy you're back. So am I, pal. So am I. Thank you guys for your patience. Thanks for hanging on as we ended up having to take the past 2 days off. The Knockem Dead Comedy Show coming at you live from Gov's Comedy Club Podcast, the Facebook page, the YouTube channel. If you watch it on the Facebook page, please follow the page. And if you want to hang out there, we appreciate it. If you shoot over to YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the thumbs up. If you'd like to comment and take part throughout the show, where I can read your comments and we can have a conversation, want to hear your name, want to hear what your comments are, want to hear your thoughts, well, then go over to YouTube, because that is where we monitor the comments. So please head on over to YouTube to comment throughout the show. You're more than welcome to stay on Facebook, and we appreciate you watching no matter how you watch, whether it's live or after the fact, YouTube or Facebook. But if you're watching live and you want to participate in the comments and participate in the conversations we're having, please do so on YouTube. If you're not watching this show live, feel free to email me anytime with your comments, and I'll be happy to bring it up on the next show. If you'd like to do your own podcast and looking for a great studio to do it in, where you have access to some of the best comedians in the whole world, contact me. And maybe we'll put a show together for you here. That'll be great. We do have some shows coming your way very soon. Will be some announcements coming your way shortly. Very excited about some of them. Well, I'm excited about all of them. Anyway, all right, so thanks for joining us today. Sorry we had to take the past couple of days off. I got a lot to talk about here. I think we're going to start off with a little therapy session, because I got a lot to complain about this morning. And I owe some apologies to people. So Monday, Monday we were all set to do the show, getting ready to do the show. I ran into John Blenn on Sunday, which I'll get to that in a minute. I'll get to that in a minute, but I ran into John Blenn on Sunday, and we were talking. I could talk to John Blenn all day. Love that man. Nicest guy, knows everything there is to know about entertainment, has some cool stories, as he's had a lot of, he's worked with a lot of big names. Michael Zinn is watching. Okay, I came over to YouTube. What's up? Nice to see you, Michael. Michael, I just mentioned a few minutes ago that we have some shows coming our way that I'll be making some announcements soon that I'm very excited about. Wink, wink to Michael. Yeah, very excited about some stuff that's happening here. But thanks for watching us, Michael. Michael, I'm going to talk about you soon, because I'm going to talk about you meeting my son. But I'm going to get to that in a little while. I'm going to start off with the bad stuff first, and then I'm going to get over to the good stuff. I got a little bit of both today. So Monday morning, I'm walking around in my house, getting ready. I'm getting ready to come into the studio, do my thing. It's just another Monday. And like I mentioned, I saw John Blenn on Sunday. So I said to John, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? I don't think I'm doing anything, he said. I said, why don't you come to the show with me? He said 11 a.m. because John Blenn knows everything going on in the entertainment world. We're not just talking local. We're talking everything. And the guy is like, the first time I ever met him, I went right up to him and said, John, I'd like to introduce myself. He goes, oh, Mr. Walker, nice to meet you. I've seen a lot of posts about your Knockem Dead comedy, and I see you doing some cool stuff over at Governor's. I was like, whoa. The man knows his stuff. So I asked him to come do the show on Monday, and he just goes, 11 a.m., right? I go, yeah, man. He knew it. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I think I'm free. So I was all excited. I could talk to John Blenn all day. So I was excited to have John on. Monday morning, I'm getting ready. I'm coming up with stuff to talk about with John. I'm going on the internet to see what's cooking, what's shaking, what's happening. So we have some stuff to talk about. And I go to my basement because that's where I have my office. I'm not a big fan of the word man cave. Makes it sound like, I go down there to get away from my wife and kids, which is not the case at all. It's just, where the space is to put my stuff and to have my computer and do my thing. So I'm in trouble. What'd you do, John? John Truson walking around with what looked like a police officer. I always knew that Truson was bad news. All right, so anyway, so I'm walking around in my basement. And my wife had left something on top of the basement, at the top of the basement stairs. She's like, this has to go in the basement. You take it down there when you go down? Sure. So I grab it and I go downstairs. I'm getting ready to do my thing. And I go into the unfinished side of the basement. Yeah, it is a cop. What's going on here? All those rumors about Truson are true. Do I have a camera out? Oh, you know what? Is that camera on? No, it's not. Damn it. I got a camera facing the hallway. Although I'd probably get in trouble, right, if I all of a sudden turned a camera on a cop without him knowing. All right, they walked away. What the hell was I talking about? So, so I go into the unfinished side of the basement to put this thing away. All of a sudden I realize I'm walking on water. Yeah, insert your Jesus jokes right there. I'm walking in water. I'm like, what the? So I immediately go into panic mode because I am not I'm not a manly man. I'm just immediately, what do I do? Where's it coming from? So on Saturday we had some sprinkler guys come because our sprinkler lines, weren't working properly. So we had some guys come on Saturday. So immediately I go to where the spigots are in the house that feed the the sprinkler lines outside. And I'm looking, I'm feeling around, everything's all dry. And I realize where I am, everything's kind of dry. I'm near the washing machine and stuff. I'm like, all right, there's nothing going on here because it's dry here. It's like, all right, where the hell is this water coming? But of course I'm not thinking like that. I was like, oh, it's dry. Now, where's it coming? What happened? That's literally how my brain is working. Instead of being a manly man, we're like, okay, let's just take a second and figure this out. I'm just freaking out. And plus the fact, I think this prosthetic leg is okay, but I used to have prosthetic legs that could not touch water or they'll like shrink and deteriorate and turn to dust. When I first became an amputee, it was very strict orders that, this leg does not go in the water. And it was like that for years. So I still have that mindset. So anytime water comes near my prosthetic leg, I'm like, Arr! So I'm walking in water, so of course my leg is in. And it was at this point, depending on where you were in my basement, it was probably around 3 or 4 inches of water. So I'm kind of getting worried and stuff. I have stuff that's getting wet, boxes of stuff. So I was like, so I'm walking around. So I realize the water is coming from where the hot water heater is and, the heating system. So I go in, and that's like a separate room in the basement. So I open the door, and sure enough, and I can hear water. So I'm looking around, what is going on? So I'll show you the video. This is the video I sent. Everybody was out of the house at this point, so this is what I sent. First, I sent it to a plumber friend. Then I sent it over to Lisa. But I want to show you because I want to show you where the water was coming from.
Shooting out right from there. Shooting out.
Is that the craziest thing? So that's the what is that? The extension tank? Is that what they call it? I mean, it was just like a little pinhole, and the water's pissing out of it. But it was steady, and it's hitting the window, but of course, coming down. So it doesn't seem like it's just a little pinhole, but it had to have been shooting out for at least, I'm thinking, anywhere from a half hour to an hour to get that much water on the floor. Maybe even longer than that. But thank goodness. So, yeah, Lisa's taking credit, and I'm giving her credit, too. If she didn't tell me to take this thing, whatever it was, I don't even remember. It might have been a garbage can, and put it in the unfinished side of the basement, I wouldn't have seen that water. The rest of the family was already gone for the day. I was literally 20 minutes out from leaving the house to come here. And I probably would have been the first one home that day. Probably around 3 o'clock I would have gotten home. So who knows how much water would have been in the basement at that point. So, so thankfully, and now there's an alarm going off here in the building. This week cannot get any weirder. So I don't know, am I supposed to be evacuating? My guess is that maybe that cop was doing some kind of inspection on this, whatever security systems they have here. Either that or the cop and Truson are engaged in a gunfight. You guys can probably hear that, right? The bell, the alarm. Now, we had, if you guys remember, I don't know, it was probably about 6 months ago, the alarms were going off while we were all in the building, and we had no idea what was sparking it. Me and Truson and Ange, we were all walking around the building trying to figure out what was going on. I don't know whatever came of that. I ended up leaving because I'm a pussy. No, I was done for the day, so I left. All right, I guess I'll just keep going. I'll read some comments before I continue here. Good morning, Mickey. Fremder, my basement doesn't flood anymore. I just use a sock. Good morning, Carol. Good to see you. Fremder, I have a great water pump for the basement. I can't pronounce the name of the manufacturer, but I think it spells Bosie. John Rusciello, Kaplan said you must have spilled your black thermos. Carol, school's out for summer. Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. So you guys do hear it, right? I'm just going to keep talking. Is it distracting? Is it really loud to you guys? It's not. Doesn't seem that bad from where I'm sitting, but if you guys are all right with it, I'm just going to continue. So I sent the video to a friend of mine who's a plumber. In fact, Capel, Chris Capel, is that his name? He's a comedian. His brother's name is Jim. Great guy, Jim. I've known Jim for a while. Great plumber. So I contacted him. I was like, Jim, can you come over and help me? Turns out Jim is away on vacation, and I probably woke him up. All right, so it's not bothering you guys. Okay, sorry I'm late to class, but the bell rang before I got here. I know. We hear it. It's okay. Thanks, Mary. Mary, are you still in New York? Mary, all the way from England, is in New York. Why are you not in this room? Why have you not reached out to me to say, hey, I'm coming to New York. Put me on your show. Or did you already leave? And are you near London? Because I'm coming to England in August. And I'm going to be spending 2 days in London. And then off somewhere to my pal Elio's house for the rest of the week. No, you're not in New York anymore. All right, so that means you're in trouble, Mary. You are in deep doo-doo, young lady. Okay, so she's back in the UK. Well, I hope you had a great time while you were here. Oh, and there you go. Class dismissed. I've got it bad. I'm hot for teacher. 45 minutes from London. I have no idea where I'm going. I'm going to London the first 2 days I get there. Where I'm going after that, I have no idea. Elio, I think, is... I think I asked you this, Mary, right? You don't know Elio Pace? You don't know that name? A little bit of a name over there in England. Tours theaters. Performing Billy Joel stuff, and he's got his own great music as well. I don't know where he lives. just like when you were here, I'm sure you had no idea where you were. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll find out. I'll get back to you, assuming you want to know. I'm not. You didn't even tell me you wanted to know. I'm just throwing this information at you. Would have come on, but you had a flood. So you planned on reaching out to me Monday or Tuesday to asking to come in here? A little suspicious of that answer, Mary. Okay, so then I got in touch with the plumber who came and and that was a problem too. Then I'm scurrying around the house, turned off what I thought was the water main, but it wasn't stopping. It's just a lot of water still in that tank, but I didn't realize that at the time. So I'm like turning every shut-off valve I can find. I have no idea what half of them were. But the leak eventually did stop. A guy came to check out the damage and the water and whatnot, and to dry the place out and whatnot. He wanted like $3,000, so we were like, whoa, hey, yo. So we picked up some industrial fans ourselves from Home Depot. It's still blowing right now. I'm gonna let it blow for a few days. As Fremder can't type fast enough, I'm sure. Yeah. So and then I'm gonna get a guy back in who'll just kind of assess the damage from there. Because you don't want water getting underneath the flooring. You don't want water gathering up in the walls because that's how you get mold. So yeah, I'm gonna get a guy in. Maybe Friday or Saturday to come in and kind of check everything out. Maybe put some bleach down to get rid of, whatever buildup might be happening. But yeah, I've had fans blowing since Monday night. But then, and I thought that was the end of it. We just have to, and I had a ton of stuff, boxes and stuff on the floor. Moved all that stuff out of the way. I haven't even gone through that stuff yet to see what's damaged and what needs to be thrown out. But then yesterday morning. Again, got up, get myself ready to do the show. Kind of pissed about how Monday went, some little bit of a mood. But then Lisa comes in and tells me that there is no hot water in the house. Forgot the fire hydrant, John. Sorry, I forgot it. Hello, Joel. Run dehumidifiers. I have one dehumidifier running and 3 industrial fans. All right, I will let you know, Mary. Thanks. John Rosillo, my father used to say company is like fish. After 3 days, it starts to stink. When is Mike leaving? Today's Wednesday. When did he get there? Thursday? So is he leaving tomorrow? Fremder, I know a good plumber with a nice ass crack. Yeah, so find out yesterday morning that there's no hot water. Lisa loves a hot shower, so I didn't say golden shower, Fremder. She loves a hot shower, so she was not in a good mood. Happy wife, happy life, so mad wife, sad life. Yeah, so that was the start of my day. I'm like, oh, goodness. So, yeah, no water, no hot water. So that video I showed you, that green tank that was leaking, that I got replaced on Monday. So I call that guy back. I go, dude, the hot water, we don't have any hot water. He's like, I don't know how that could have happened. I'm like, I don't know either. So he comes back. He's looking around. He gets the hot water tank was not on. So he hits the pilot light. He says there's a flame, and he's gone. And by the way, the tank he replaced, the video I showed you, that plumber and another heating, air conditioning guy that had come look at it, both of them said, yeah, we've never seen that before. We don't know how that could have happened. So, just my luck. So then, so this guy gets the flame, he leaves. I go downstairs, I check it about an hour later. Sure enough, no hot water, and there's no flame in the hot water tank. I'm like, son of a bitch. So I contact that guy again, and I tell him, he's like, look, he said flat, he goes, I'm not coming back. He goes, if the flame ain't staying on, he goes, there's something wrong with the tank. You probably need to replace it. I'm like, damn it. So I call another air conditioning heating guy that I know and I really like a lot. So he comes over. And he's like, yeah, he goes, I think the tank needs to be replaced. And he goes, and he's trying hard just to get a flame going, just so we have hot water temporarily until we replace the tank, right? And he was busting his ass. probably a half hour in, he actually got it to work. So we have hot water for now. But, yeah, we got to replace the tank. So I'm like, shit, the 4th of July is coming. I want to get this done. 4th of July, then it's Friday. I don't know how many people are working even on Friday. Then it's the weekend. I'm like, shit, are we going to go these many more days without, being on the brink of not having hot water? Thankfully, it's not wintertime, right? So the guy, he shows me a water tank. He goes online, shows me a hot water heater tank at Lowe's. He said it's a really good tank and the price is reasonable. And he goes, this was like about 8 o'clock last night. He goes, contact Lowe's, see if, you can get it delivered. I'm like, all right. So I'm calling Lowe's, and nobody's answering the phone. And they were open. I'm like, what the? So now I'm just I've been pretty much aggravated since Monday morning, like steady. So now I'm mad. Like, these pricks aren't answering their phone. And I'm like, so I decided to go there. There's one not too far from my house. But I'm like, what if they have it? Like, am I going to actually try and carry this thing into my car and then, to my house, bring it into my basement? Like, what am I doing? So I go in and because I show them the ad on their website for this particular water heater, because it says delivery, like the best date it had for delivery was Thursday, 4th of July. And I'm like, what are you people, communists? But I was hoping to have it today, so my buddy said he would come today and install it. So I go there, and I show it to him. I go, is there any way I can have this delivered tomorrow? I don't know. This was like, you would think I asked to buy their children. Like, they went off. It was 3 people. They went off into like this little huddle. 15 minutes later, they finally come back to me. They're like, no, we can't deliver it tomorrow. So I'm like, all right, but it says Thursday. And they were like, yeah, they're like, on the website, it has nothing to do with us. And there's the alarm again. So I'm like, now I'm really mad. So instead of like throwing things through the place, I'm like, I'm just going home. I went on Home Depot. I couldn't find anything that was to our liking on their website. So I'm like, all right. I went home, and Lisa ordered it, and sure enough, it says delivery between 8 and 8 on Thursday. I don't know. Maybe these guys do work during the day. Nobody does any celebrating during the day on the 4th of July. They wait till, dinner time, they barbecue, and then when it's dark, the fireworks go off. So maybe they are working. And hopefully they're getting double time, so good for them. I used to, at my old job at the phone company, I would work on the 4th of July. There were certain holidays, you're like, you know what, we don't do anything until nighttime, so maybe I'll work and, get the overtime. I used to work, I worked a lot of 4th of Julys. I used to work New Year's Eve. Yeah, because, it's, you get overtime, and again, you don't do anything during the day anyway. You're just basically hanging around staring at each other, waiting to go out that night, So, so yeah, so that's the story. It looks like it's getting delivered tomorrow, and then hopefully we'll have it running, Thursday or Friday. But my apologies to John Blenny. He was going to come in here on Monday. My apologies to Diane, who was supposed to be here with me yesterday. Yeah, it was just a crazy couple of days. And I got more stuff to talk about from the past few days. But I'm going to read some of your comments first. Let's see. There's no more flame in your basement. Gee, I wonder who you could call for that. Faulty igniter, electric tanks, burnout, heater elements, both simple fixes. Well, actually, Joel, they were, my buddy who came said, yeah, it looked like there was water damage, in the hardware. Like, you got all the wires, you got the pilot light, you got, a bunch of stuff there. It said he thinks the flood that we had, he thinks the water got in there and screwed the hardware up. The tank is at least 12 years old. So he's like, he goes, anybody that owns a house, you probably know at this point, usually hot water tanks last 10 to 15 years. So he's like, we're here at this point. Instead of trying to fix it and risk further damage or, God forbid, something else happens, he goes, I really think you should change this out. And again, I trust this guy. So, and again, even when I heard it was, at least 12 years old, I'm like, yeah, all right. let's just, be done with this. Fremder, the last time I lost my hot water, I had my wife pee on me. Oh, goodness. John Rusiello, what is the gallon capacity? It's a 50-gallon tank. I bought a Marathon hot water tank. Lifetime guarantee. Real lifetime guarantee. What'd you pay for that? 2 people now watching with tinnitus. Prison break siren. Caught them. I don't know what's going on. It's gone off a few times. There was a cop walking around before. My guess is that they're just checking the system. That's my guess. Fremda, the 4th of July now means the land of the free and the home of the slave. Whoa. Tomorrow for a guest, you should have Hugh Murray, the 4th of July. Oh, got it. Frank C, hey buddy, how's the basement? Yeah, it was just I just filled everybody in on that. It's we're still drying things out, and the hot water tank went to shit. The water got into it. On the bottom of the hot water tanks is where the hardware is and the pilot light and all that. The water from the flood got in there and screwed everything up, so the hot water tank is now dead. But it's a 12-year-old tank anyway, so it's time. So yeah, so we have to deal with that. The last time I lost hot water. Oh, why am I reading that again? Yeah, it's been an interesting few days dealing with that garbage. I have not checked my own stuff that got wet. I had several boxes of stuff. I had a bunch of tools that were submerged. I still haven't gone through that stuff. All I did was move that stuff out of the way, which was not easy for me because, these days between my age and the leg, I try to pace myself when it comes to physical labor. So running around in a hurry through water, which is not good for the leg either. I was kind of sore after that, but so I haven't gone through to see exactly how bad my stuff is, but hopefully not too bad. But thanks for asking. About $1,300 for 50-gallon 3 years ago. Wow. I'm going to look into that. Thanks, Joel. I appreciate that. Joel, do we know each other? How did you find us? Where did you come from? When did you start watching? On was it last week when Diane was here? I forget. I forget what day it was you started watching last week. Glad you're here, and you've been watching us pretty much every day since, which we appreciate. So that's that. And Frank, if you go back at the beginning, you know what? Screw it. I'll play it again. It's only a 10-second video, so who gives a shit?
Right from there, shooting out.
Two plumbers took a look at that and said, "We've never seen that happen before." From there, I can name a few people with a 50-gallon tank, not for water. Joel, you installed it yourself. Wow. Now, see, that's what I mean. I'm not a manly man. You obviously are. I wouldn't even attempt to do that by myself. Wow. I'm impressed. Just found you at random. Oh, cool. What, you were on YouTube just scrolling along and it must have been when Diane was here because nobody's just going to check this show out seeing this face. It must have been Diane sitting there looking all hot and be like, "Hey, what's this about?" Hey, just like that. I'm sure that's exactly what you did. Hey. All right, so Frank looked at video. Holy shit. Yes, I know. Like I said, two plumbers looked at it and were like, "We've never seen that before." Great. All right, so that's that. That's the story with the tank. So that's how the flood happened. 3 or 4 inches of water. Some personal items damaged. Don't know the extent of that yet. Drying out the floor as we speak. Got industrial fans blowing. Got a guy coming in Friday or Saturday that's going to bleach things, and hopefully we don't get any mold. And then we're getting the new hot water tank. Nice tank video. That's how I used to pee before I turned 40. Yeah, me too. Grandpa taught me how to do everything, says Joel. Is your grandpa still around? Can he come over my house? Mickey saying hi to Joel. Mickey, leave Joel alone. So, all right, so that's that. That's all the flood stuff that's going on. I have some other things I need to complain about. Like I said, we're doing a little bit of a therapy session for me today. Then I got some good stuff. So I'm going to get all the negative stuff out of the way. So I'm going to complain a little bit about as many of you know, I do this show. I've been doing this show for for about 6.5 years. I am retired from the phone company. I had to take a disability retirement because I'm an amputee, and it's hard to climb poles and put up phone wires when you can't climb a pole anymore. So I took a disability retirement, and I collect disability. I collect Social Security disability, and that's I don't. But with my retirement and Social Security, I don't make a lot of money, and I barely make anything here. But this is mainly for fun. We're trying to turn this into a money-making thing, but it's really for just a lot of fun, and I enjoy hanging out at the club, and I do my own comedy shows. So there's that's the agenda behind it. Is just trying to get the comedy stuff going. So, but it's not easy. Having the prosthetic leg, it's a little weird. I've tried. I did try staying at the phone company for a while with the prosthetic leg, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. It's a weird thing with the prosthetic. It's hard to keep a steady job because there are days where I don't have any problems and I can go, 20 hours with the prosthetic on. But then there's times when, for whatever reason, you can gain or lose 5 pounds, and that changes everything with the prosthetic leg. As far as fitting into it. So, it's called breakdown. Basically, if you get a cut inside the prosthetic, it's not going to get any better when you're wearing the leg because, whatever caused the cut is going to keep cutting, and it's going to make it worse. It'll get infected if you don't take care of it, and so so if you get a cut sometimes inside the prosthetic, you have to go days, sometimes weeks without putting the leg on, or you just have to really wrap your stump up so that you can at least try wearing the prosthetic for a little while, for a limited time. So it makes it hard to keep a job. There are plenty of times, like I said, there are times I'm doing something and I'm fine, and it's like, nothing. But there are times when I have to, I do something, and then I have to take it off immediately, or the next day it's really sore. There's a lot to it. So I have the retirement, but I had to retire early. If I did 30 years at the phone company, I'd be 2 years out right now. So I had to retire early, and if I went to full 30, I'd have a lot more money. But I don't. But we're surviving. It's not always easy, but we're surviving. We're doing. We're getting through. But I am going to bitch about Social Security a little bit, which I probably shouldn't do. But I don't think it cares. I don't think it matters. So Social Security, several times they've screwed me. They do have like this program where you can work. They call it a trial period. You can collect Social Security while you attempt going back to work. And I forget the time frame, but for a certain amount of time, you are allowed to collect while working. And the hope is that the job works out and you don't need Social Security anymore. So I tried that once. And Social Security claimed that I went past the time frame while, continued to work. I forget what the time frame was. But they said that I went past the time frame and continued to work while collecting Social Security. They made me pay them back thousands. So what they do basically, they tell you, okay, we're just not paying you for X amount of time until it equals up to the amount you owe us. And who can do that? Especially on Long Island. So I'm like, whoa. So you work out a plan that they take X amount from your Social Security payments until it's paid back. Now, also, they don't give you pay stubs. So you have no idea. Like I don't remember when I first started collecting Social Security. I don't remember if somebody told me this or if I just assumed this because there are no stubs. I just thought that the money they give you, like taxes and everything, like taxes and whatnot, everything that's supposed to come out of the check, I thought were taken out before I even got a check. Turns out it wasn't. So I had to pay back thousands because nothing was taken out of the checks. And I owed, the IRS or the legal mafia, I owed them a lot of money. So I had to pay a lot of that money back. Then there was an incident where they told me that I went back to work again and was working while collecting Social Security. And I said, no, that didn't happen. And they said, well, your old company gave us dates where they claimed that you worked. And I was kind of stuck. I'm like, well, it was a very weird thing. Like, how do you prove that you worked? Oh no, I take that back. How do you prove that you didn't work? I don't have a time card, from when I punched into a day off. Like I had no way of proving, but I did say to them, I said, well, what about timesheets? You don't have timesheets that I filled out from those days. I didn't work those days. So what happened was my old company gave Social Security these dates, but then they never, anytime Social Security tried to follow up with them, they didn't respond. My old company didn't respond. So Social Security basically just gave up and said, no, you have to pay us back for those dates. I said, but they didn't respond. You guys should be yelling at them. And they said, no, well, we're not doing that anymore. We tried. So now we're just going to take their side. So they ghost you, but now I'm the victim of this. So I had to pay that money back. So now, I want to say 6 months ago or so. Yeah, earlier this year, late last year. Might have been late last year. I get a letter. Now, my daughter gets Social Security disability because of her autism. And, she'll... I don't personally think she'll ever have a full-time job. That's just... Anything's possible. I'm fully aware of that. But right now, as things are now, I just don't see that. So she gets Social Security. So I get a letter a few months back saying that the cop's walking around again. He just passed. So I get a letter saying that she's been overpaid. And so now she owes money back. And now they don't even give you dates. They're just like, no, there's been an overpayment. She owes this much. Hi, how are you? You ever do that? Like you see a cop, you just automatically get your guard up. I am the biggest pussy. I don't know if I've ever did anything that warrants the cops being called because I'm so scared. But yet I see the cop just now and he just did a quick. I'm just like. So, yeah, they don't even give you dates. They're just like, there's been an overpayment. You owe this much. I'm like, what the? I call them up. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Yeah, our records show there's been an overpayment. Like, they don't even, like, there's no negotiation. There's no, there's been an overpayment. It's the weirdest thing. So I'm like, well, what are we going to do here? So they transfer the overpayment to her, from her to me. So now I pay it. I have to pay it back, which is currently going on. So I get my Social Security payments, but X amount of money is deducted before I even get a check. So this past Saturday, I get a letter in the mail from Social Security. There's been an overpayment in your account. You will 10% of your check will now be deducted from your payments. And it doesn't even say for how long. It just says 10% will now be deducted from your checks until the overpayment is paid. So I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, and again, no dates. Doesn't even say how long the reimbursement has to go on. I swear to you, it's like, all right, let's see. We need some more money in the Social Security, and Let's see, who can we charge with overpayments today? All right. I like they close their eyes and just check off names and then look at it. Oh, okay. Yeah, Rusiello, Kaplan, Fremder, and Walker. All right, contact them. Tell them there's been an overpayment. Again, no dates, no nothing. It's just, we overpaid you. Now you pay us back. You're the ones that paid us. You're the ones who decide how much we get. How can there be an overpayment? I never got 2 checks in 1 week. Like, it's criminal. And this is our government taking care of their own. This is what they do to you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm an open book. I don't even make, from Social Security, it's not much. It's not much. It's less than $50,000 a year. It's a lot less than that. I don't make a lot of money. Thankfully, I have my 401k waiting for me when I'm retirement age. I'll be all right at that point. Until then, I get the comedy. We try to budget. Lisa makes a decent living for middle class. We do okay. So we're surviving. But having said that, it's not like, another 10% of my check being deducted. It affects us. So it's not bad enough that we go through that we're middle class. Not bad enough that I go through all this stuff with my leg. It's not bad enough that I'm trying to make something happen. Always, trying to make the money. But then your own government screws you like that. And here's the phone call we've been waiting for. Hello, sir.
How are you, sir?
I'm all right, sir. How about yourself?
I'm actually boiling now. I'm listening to you, what's happening to you, and I'm going to make a lot of comments. Some of your listeners are not going to like it. So let me say this before these people, comment. You all can go fuck yourself if you don't like what I'm going to say.
All right.
Okay, but here's what I'm going to say. You got injured. You had cancer. Unfortunately, they had to take off your leg. You're entitled to everything you get and more. Who the fuck is the government and Social Security when the United States of America gives billions of dollars away for Section 8, for fucking, I had 4 kids by a different father. You have to pay me. I can't work. This and that. They waste billions of fucking dollars on these assholes. And a guy like you, that worked all his life, that did everything right, had the white picket fence, raised a family, did nothing wrong, they have to break your balls.
Right.
And that's what's wrong with this fucking country. That's what's wrong with the politicians, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, liberal, communist, whoever the fuck you are. This has to stop. This has to stop. It's beyond not fair.
Right.
It's disgusting.
In 2018, Social Security contacted me. They made me go see all of their doctors, basically start from scratch because they felt you've been collecting long enough. Maybe it's time that you get back into the workforce. And I said, I've been trying to get back into the workforce, doing the best I can. I don't want to collect Social Security, but I'm doing what I can. So now they start sending me to all these doctors to see if I'm, deemed good enough to go back to the workforce. So I'm shitting a brick this whole time. I'm thinking, son of a bitch, they're going to cut me off. And I sat with one doctor. This is a doctor. He told me flat out that he has no experience in the amputation prosthetic world. He told me flat out, I have no experience in this world with this. So I'm just going to ask you some questions. And I actually said to the guy, I go, do you guys think that this leg is going to grow back? This is my situation, and it's permanent. And thankfully, and it was really weird, because then the guy saw that I do some acting and stuff. He started asking me all sorts of weird questions about acting. We get into the murder mysteries, and I don't know what was going on. This guy actually said to me, he goes, have you ever thought using a real gun? I was like, what? And he goes into this whole thing. Oh, yeah, I've always wanted to use a real gun in a murder mystery show. And in my head, I'm like, is this guy an asshole or is he really screwed up in the head? But either way, why is he making it a decision on whether I should continue to get Social Security or not? And here we are Here we are 6 years later. I still have not received a verdict on whether I continue to get benefits or not. I've just been collecting it all this time. I guarantee probably 5 years from now I'm going to get a letter in the mail saying a verdict's been reached. It's a poor representation of our country when you see just how poorly an organization like Social Security is run, or an agency, I should say, not an organization.
I wish all this pain and discomfort that you went to, forget about me. I'm done with my life. But all the pain and discomfort and all the misery that you and your family occurred with your problems, it should happen to them and their families and let them judge. Okay? I mean, you're telling me about a doctor that has nothing to do, that didn't know it. It's why is he even in this capacity?
Right.
You know, I get, since the stroke, I get very, very frustrated with this. I can hardly talk, but it's a shame what you have to go through.
Yeah.
You know, and it's ridiculous. About acting. Well, you're acting not because you're making a living out of it. It's therapy for you.
Well, yeah, that too.
People
yes.
don't realize that. What would you have in your life, because you can't work a full-time job? It's physically impossible to work a full-time job. What do? Do you do a Rusciello and sit on your ass all day long and watch the Tony Walker show and thank God for Tony Walker? I mean, really, because I can't do anything.
Right. So
I can't do anything.
And that's the thing. You would if you could. You're just unfortunately not able to.
I would give my left testicle to work.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, now I would. Maybe 30 years ago I wouldn't, but because I needed it. But you know, I can't even make a joke out about this. I can't even make levity out of this. This is disgusting.
Yep.
It's fucking disgusting. And but God forbid if somebody goes to a welfare office and say, I have 2 kids, I can't work, and I have no place to live. Oh, we'll pay your rent. Oh, we'll give you Section 8, or we'll find. I mean, listen, I'm not begrudging anybody that really needs it, all right? But there's a lot of waste. I've seen it my whole entire life, all right? And it's disgusting. They waste billions and billions of taxpayers' money for nonsense.
Yep, you're absolutely right about that. Yep.
I'm releasing Mr. Kaplan today. He'll be on a 7:00 flight. All right, and it was a wonderful visit.
Oh,
He's
nice.
on the beach now. He's on the beach now with his wonderful girlfriend. She's a lovely girl, very, very nice. But as I commented, all right, after 3 days, it's like fish. All right, and that's the only thing I'm going to say. But it was really, and I'm going to chastise him because he's on the beach, which is only 5 minutes from my house, laying on the beach, and I said, "Well, Tony's on. You want to come home?" And there was no response.
That son of a bitch. Well, did he? But did he give you the poster?
Yes, he did give me the poster. It was very nice. It was actually folded, but I stuck it under my mattress and I laid on my stomach. And that's another story for a different day. But it's all straightened out.
There's a lot of meanings to that comment.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, you have no idea. By the way, all right, I bought a pound and a half. When they first landed, I wanted to have a nice lunch for them. So I went to a specialty store and I bought a pound and a half of colossal shrimp because he loves shrimp.
Right.
I figured we all have a nice shrimp cocktail. He ate the whole fucking platter.
Come on.
He ate I swear. I honest to God, and when he goes on the show next week, ask him, say, how much shrimp did you eat? He ate the whole platter. My wife looked at him and says, "What, are you fucking kidding me?"
Wow.
Not that I care, but he ate it whole. I never saw a guy eat a whole pound and a half of shrimp. There was 25 shrimp on the tray. He left 3 for Trish. He left 3 shrimp for Trish.
That's going to be one of the first things I ask him next Wednesday. That's insane.
I tell you, all right. And Carol just said, "Amen, John." Well, I'm glad Carol is on our side, because there's a lot of people, Carol, that are not on our side.
Yes,
and it's disgusting.
We definitely need more John and Carols in this world.
Well, you don't need me, but you need more Carols, and so I expect you, Mr. Walker, to come down and visit me, because it doesn't look like I'll be coming to New York too soon. So you have an open invitation for this house. Mike will tell you, like I told you, the house is so big, we don't even know if unless they sit down and at the dinner table, we don't even know if they're here. Love you, man. Have a great show.
Love you, pal. Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. John Rusciello checking in. What a good man. John, I hope you're feeling all right. Okay. So let's check the comments, and then I'll move on. $50K a year, I could live like a king. I hear you. I just didn't want to. I don't know. I just felt a little weird about saying how much or how little I make. How'd you lose your leg? 2002, I was diagnosed with osteosarcoma. It's a bone cancer. Basically, I had a tumor wrapped around my leg, wrapped around the outside of the femur. The femur is the bone that's attached, from your hip to your knee, the big bone on top of your leg. So I had a tumor wrapped around the outside of the bone. And so I did chemo for a few months to shrink it down. Then I did, then we did, the original plan was to have chemo, and then we were going to try to save the leg. And, so we did chemo to shrink it down. Then we took a break from chemo, and, they did a 13-hour surgery where they took my femur out. Between the knee and the ankle, you have two bones, the fibula and the tibula. I always get them mixed up. I'm not sure which one is the skinny one. You got one of them is a little fatter, the other one's skinny. They took the skinny one out, and they put that where the femur was. Now, the idea was, because it's my bone, they said it'll mesh with the hip and the knee, and it'll eventually grow and become a femur. That is what they were telling me. They said, you'll be on crutches for 9 to 12 months. Then it'll be like nothing ever happened. Great. So did that surgery. That was 13-hour surgery. I was in the hospital for a little over 3 weeks, which was awful. And then I did more chemo after that. And then, then from that point it was, just trying to get this bone to mesh. Now, also in the meantime, they put in a cadaver bone, which was the size of a femur. They put in metal rods and screws to hold everything together until the bone, grew and meshed. Well, 9 months to a year on crutches turned into almost 3 years on crutches. In pain most of that time, and the bone's not meshing. The metal rods breaking, screws breaking. It was just several surgeries trying to chivvy more bone in there to make it work, to put in more screws and bolts. It was just a disaster. So I told the doctor I'd like to amputate. He said no. So I went and got a second opinion, and he said, and he was the second opinion doctor was very familiar with this procedure. He's like, he goes, what they don't tell you is that the success rate, I think it was like 10% or something. It was very low. He goes, that's something they don't tell you. He said, they don't tell you that a lot of his patients go their whole lives with issues. He goes, however, I'm not amputating. That's a big decision to make. He goes, you need to think about that. So I'm standing there with crutches. I said, I've been thinking about this for almost 3 years. No, think about it some more. So I go home, and I went for one of those, after you have cancer, you have to go for tests, every few months to make sure everything is still, okay. So I had to go for one of those, and they did an MRI. And this is the second opinion doctor. He called me up, and he goes, it's such a mess in there that we can't really see what's happening. He goes, we're not really sure. He goes, we're not sure. We think we might see another tumor. He says, but we don't know because it's such a mess in there that we can't really make anything out. He said, I think we should open you up. He goes, since we're opening you up, since you'll be under anesthesia, if you still want the amputation, that's the time to do it. And I said, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. So this was 3 years later. So the cancer was long gone. It's the type of cancer that once it's gone, it never comes back. You just keep getting tested for 5 years. once you get the clean bill of health, you're good. It's not the type of cancer that'll come back. So I got a clean bill of health. They had me come for 6 years. I went 6 years cancer free, and they're like, yeah, you don't have to come back here anymore. But still had to deal with the leg not being right. So so I was cancer free. It was just the leg just didn't heal right. So so I had the amputation. Turned out there was no tumor in there. Again, it was just a mess. But so I had the amputation. That actually just about a little over a month from now, about 6 weeks from now, it'll be 19 years since the amputation. And it was definitely the right move. I probably would still be on crutches today if we didn't amputate. I spent years at home, not really being able to do much because I was on crutches and in pain. So I do feel I lost a few years. So, I got the life back. I'm limited with what I can do. And like I said at the top of the show, I still have, there are times where I'm still in pain or I have some issues. And but it's still, well, first off, it's better than dying from cancer, but it's also sure beats being on crutches or in a wheelchair. I can't even sit in a wheelchair just like, joking around anymore. Like I spent so much time in a wheelchair and on crutches, like I want nothing to do with it. So, I do all right for a guy with a prosthetic leg. I do all right. So, so no complaints. 3 to 4 inches would definitely cause a flood in your basement if you're into that type of stuff. You entertain your followers every day. I, for one, appreciate you and thank you. Thank you, John. John's always got the nicest things to say. But if it wasn't for you guys, there wouldn't be a show. So appreciate all you guys that watch. I appreciate all the different Facebook pages that allow me to post the show on their page. I appreciate all the guests and the co-hosts and governors, and I just appreciate everybody that makes all this happen. The only thing that sucks about it is I don't really make anything here. I mean, we're not even into 3 digits, the amount of money I make here. I mean, if you add it all up in the 6.5 years, yeah, but per month, it's the low hundreds. It's really most months it's not even that high. I really don't make much of anything here. It's like spending money here and there. It's really not much of anything. So that's the only thing about this that we need to improve on, because the idea is to make this where I can make a decent living and get rid of Social Security. That's always been my goal, to make enough money here so I can make career money here. For me, governors make, it's a lot to maintain all the electricity and equipment in here, just to pay the electric bill and to maintain this stuff. And then, of course, they want to make a profit. Why wouldn't they? So the goal has always been to make this work for governors and for myself, because I love it here. I love the people here, the staff. I love doing the show. I love the people I've met. And I have such a great time doing it. So hopefully it pays off in that sense too. We're always trying various ideas. So the only thing that's lacking is the money. Otherwise, I have a great time here working on all the shows here. We have a lot of great shows here. And there's more coming. So, so I appreciate all you guys. Social Security is going to fade away when Fabian socialism goes into full effect. I'm not planning on getting it in the future. Yeah, I go back and forth on that myself, Joel. I don't, depending on the day, depends on whether I agree with that or not. They have been saying that for years, and it's still here. And I'd like to think it'll be here. My daughter will always need it. And it's not just Social Security. She gets, she's the beneficiary of a few different government programs. So, and I hope, of course, I hope that's always in effect. So, I don't know. We'll see. Fremder, the IRS knows you can't prove anything, which is why they could just go around taking whatever money they want from anybody. America, the land of the fee. Let me just say one thing, and I agree with a lot of the stuff that John was saying. I agree with Fremder's statement. I do want to say, before I go any further, I still think this is the best country in the world. Doesn't mean it's perfect. And yes, and I do agree with you. I do feel that I do feel, especially this latest letter I got from him, I do feel this is just, let's just get some money from him. He's been a benefit of our program since 2002. Let's take a little bit back. There's a lot of things going on in this country that I disagree with. Still the best country in the world, in my opinion. Just want to get that out of the way. But they are pissing me off right now. I have 4 state troopers that live around me. They seem nice, says Joel. The IRS stands for Internal Reaming Service. Yeah, says Fremder. Joel, like grandma sending you $10 for your birthday, then asking for $1 back. It's a bummer. Joel, $50,000 a year. I could live like a king. I read that one already. Fremder, our government is a joke right now. Our mascot is the bald eagle, yet an eagle can't fly if both wings can't work together. Look at Fremder getting old deep. The United States of America, whoa, Fremder. Joel, it's a human leg, not a lizard tail. It doesn't grow back, man. Right. And that's exactly what I've been saying to him. This is a permanent situation, man. And I'm still trying to work and get out of Social Security. You know, I've been working since I was 12. Started a paper out of 12. And I worked my ass off at it. I bought when I was a kid on working paper routes, I was able to buy a TV and a computer in 1985. I bought a TV and a computer with my paper route money. And back then, TVs and computers were expensive. Well, they're still expensive, but back then, especially at like 12, 13 years old. But I took on extra routes, and I kissed the customers' asses. I mean, I used to make, at Christmas time, I made around $300 every year. And for, I had paper out from 12, started at 12, ended around 16. At that age, $400 is a lot of freaking money, man. I was on top of the world. Lived in my mother's house, rent-free. Actually, I take that back. She even started charging me rent because I was making good money delivering papers. I should go back to that. No kids, no whining, no screaming, no bullshit. Damn kids. No, I'm kidding. Actors are professional liars, sort of like politicians. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and there's Carol's Amen, John. I didn't realize my comments go back that far. Joel, jumbo shrimp or regular size? Jumbo. Fremder, if the Social Security office doesn't give you what you need, just say that you identify with a homeless crackhead with 10 kids and a different mother. Oh, with different mothers. Yeah, I probably should do that. Carol, dealing with SSI as a parent of an adult autistic son is bullshit. Yeah, it really is. You have enough to deal with. There are certain things. Again, a leg isn't growing back. So, autism or special needs, you can't fake that. There are plenty, like John pointed out, there are plenty of people out there that collect Social Security for questionable reasons. Go put the hammer down. Put the hammer down on those people. Put the pressure on them. Let the people who really need it get it. Don't bust their chops. And this is kind of getting into a whole other thing, but it's a big fear of mine Carol, I'm sure you identify with it. Once my wife and I are gone, what the hell are they going to do to my daughter at that point? That's like one of my biggest fears in life. She has her brother, thank goodness. You'd like to think he'll get on top of it and, help her out. But still, at the same time, you feel bad that that's going to be left on him, But it really, because I take care of everything, my daughter's paperwork. Because even that, too, they bust your balls like crazy. They want all sorts of paperwork all the time and updates on what's going on. And again, you don't grow out of autism. You're not going to get to a point where someday you'll be sitting around the dinner table. Sammy, remember when you had that autism thing? Oh, yeah, I remember that. Oh, boy, that was a struggle. Yeah, I couldn't even add back then. Well, those are some crazy times. No, it doesn't work that way. My daughter's IQ is 60. 60. And that's not going to change. And so I go on all day. I can go on all day. Mary, so good you're all clear and everything got sorted. Thank you, Mary. Sorry you lost your leg, but glad you're here. Me too, Frank. Thank you. It is basically gas money for all you two. Yeah, pretty much. Joel, America falls last because we all have close to 4 million guns in the hands of the public. Well, yeah, and that's a whole other topic too. Whether you agree with gun control or the Second Amendment, whole other story. But there is some kind of weird obsession in this country with guns that I don't personally understand. No judgment. You want to have guns in your house? I personally don't care. Having said that, why are we shooting each other up so much? Why are we so obsessed with guns? Why do we feel the need to protect ourselves so badly? You have people in Canada that still don't lock their house, and they don't worry about that stuff. I don't know. Again, whole other topic, whole other show. And if SSI screws up and pays you too much, and they come after you for their screw up, says Mickey. Right. Well, that's the thing. They don't even show you how they screwed up. They just say, "Yeah, you owe us money." Really? I should have brought the letter. I could have showed you. It just says there was an overpayment with no dates. We're now taking 10%. I mean, really, the letter is that. It's really like it might be a total of 5 sentences. No dates. Doesn't say how long they're going to collect this money for. Really, no information. That's a phone call I'm making when I get home, by the way. Paper routes back then paid about $4 a week before tips. Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think it was around. I delivered Newsday. That was and those were the days where Newsday was an afternoon paper. It wasn't even in the morning. They would actually report the news of the day, so you get the paper that day, that afternoon, and you'd read it. You'd read it at night with as you eat dinner or whatever. No internet back then, so you had the daily news in the morning that tells you what went on yesterday and last night, and then Newsday at the end of the day tells you what happened that day. And I loved it. My paper route, the first route I got was on the block I lived on, and the next block. And we had just moved on to that block not even a year prior. So it was a great way to get to know everybody on the block. And I was not a social kid. I didn't like anybody. And I didn't like talking to people. I just had my group of friends and family. That was it. I didn't like meeting new people. I wasn't a social guy. My brother was the, hey! I was the, in the back, So this actually taught me a lot of social skills. Just getting to know the neighbors and talking to them. And if they yelled at me for not putting the paper where they wanted it, I made sure I, from now on, left it where they wanted it. Then I would get, then they would hire me for, cut their lawns on Saturdays. And I think I even babysat, I think. But then on Saturdays, I would go to the Newsday shack, and the manager would be like, "Yeah, I don't have anybody deliver papers on this route, or today. Can you just help me out and deliver this, or cover this kid's away with his family? Can you deliver for him?" I used to do that every week. I'd go to the Newsday shack, I find out what routes are open, I'd go deliver on those routes, and the manager would pay me a few bucks for helping him out. And then I started working in that shack on Saturdays. I'd give out papers to the kids, as they're coming in to collect. Give out their papers, and the manager would pay me for that. And then I took on a few more routes in my, near my house permanently, permanent routes. Like I said, all you do is do whatever they tell you, and stand there too. They come out to pay you for the week, and some of them just felt like telling you their life story. Oh, so look what I did over here on the side of the lawn here, and then you stand there, smile and nod, and they remember that stuff. So at Christmas, that's what I'm saying. At Christmas, I raked it in, man. Such a scam. No, I'm kidding. And my mother still lives on that block where I had the paper out. So most of those people I delivered to are dead. But there's still one or two people that I still know to this day. See them as I'm driving by. Hey, Anthony! How did I go into that rant? I have no idea. Sunday papers were heavy. Yes, they were. They were thick. Remember how thick they were? I could only fit like 6 papers on my bike. I remember when I was just delivering on my block, I didn't care. I'd throw 6 or 7 in the basket, go deliver them right back to my house, go get more. But then as I was expanding, it was a bitch. I used to put more papers in a shopping bag, like, the plastic bags, and I would hold them on my handles. So I would have the basket full, and I was like, oh, this is a pain in the ass. Then God forbid one of the bags fell, or if you fell off the bike or something, then you had these papers everywhere. It was a disaster. I did start doing towards the end of my time, because they always used to say they used to lay down the law. Because, like the newspaper itself with all the news used to come that morning, but sometimes like the other stuff, like the ads and the part 2 and all that, the inserts, they used to send those over the night before. So and they would tell you can't deliver that the night before. You deliver it on Sunday with the regular paper. And I was loyal to that for years. Probably just my last year of delivering papers. Saturday nights I would go out and just deliver all the other stuff. So in the morning I would just have the newspaper and I could fit them all in my basket and go. But yeah, those are good innocent days. And Newsday treated you well. You get people to sign up. You got prizes. Like I remember winning Yankee tickets once and shirts, and yeah, they were good to you. It was a fun job. And then you hang out at the Newsday Shack Saturdays, before you go deliver the papers. You'd hang out because all the kids from school were there. You saw your buddies. You'd hang out and just talk for a while, go deliver your paper. Sometimes we'd come back, and just so we can hang out some more and talk, hang out. But and then they ruined it. Newsday went to mornings, and now, all newspapers, it's all delivered by creepy old men. It's a shame. The Sunday papers were heavy. Sorry, Tony, I'm a bad speaker, says Mickey. Mickey, doing fine, pal, no problem. Newsday was afternoon paper except Sunday. My brother had her out. There you go, Frank. That's what I was just doing. I used to have a paper out, says Fremder, just so I could save up to afford a new bike. For a paper out, just so I could save up to afford a new bike for a paper out. Well, yeah, I think I bought a bike too, I think. And I used to have, it was almost like every teenager's fantasy. They were these two women that lived down a block. I still remember the house, which house it was. And it was a house where it was an apartment on the 2 floors, the first floor, second floor. And you walk in the front door, and it was just enclosed. Like, you went in, you had the stairs, and there was a door to knock on, to contact them. Or for the first floor, it was its own door. So it was basically like just enclosed. You weren't in either house or either apartment when you walked in. You just had the stairs and the doors. On the second floor were these 2 girls. I mean, these girls, I think they had to have been models. Like, maybe they were living together as models trying to get their careers going, because both of them were stunning. And most of the time, I go, I knock on the door to get, collect money for the week, and they'd be in lingerie almost every time they answered the door. I don't know if they were messing with me or if maybe they were prostitutes. I have no idea. But this went on, they were there for probably 2 or 3 years. And, oh, man, I couldn't wait to get to that house every week. I was going up my collections. Tony, when did you start comedy or performance? And would you credit that for helping your social skills? I never would have guessed you weren't people-friendly. No, actually, I am going to credit it mostly to working, because again, with the paper outs, that's when I started getting friendly with people and, just being polite to them, trying to do the right thing because they give you more tips. It was all about the tips. But it did develop my growth. And then from the paper out, I used to deliver the newspaper to a lumberyard that was near my house. So I used to deliver there too. And then they eventually asked me to work there. So I went from paper out to working at a hardware store or lumberyard. And that helped too, because you had to kiss ass to the customers there too. And I started there when I was 15. So I was a kid that knew nothing. And I would see, like, I had to talk to the boss. I had to talk to the people that worked there and had to be respectful. And I remember I was only working there 3 days. And one of the managers wanted me to stain a door. I knew nothing about doing any handiwork. I didn't grow up with my father. I had some father figures, but there were plenty of uncles and some friends that spent time with me, but it was never that. It was never, let me teach you how to do sheetrock. Like, it was never like that. they were taking me to ball games and stuff like that. So I had no experience with that. And I remember, staining a door and totally screwing it up. And this manager screamed at me. And I remember that, thinking, oh, shit, I better step it up or I'm just going to get yelled at all the time. So that definitely helped a lot, Frank. I got into performing. It's actually a weird story. Because, again, my brother was always, hi, everybody. Look, here I am. Like, he was always the mayor. And he was always jumping on stage, playing music and whatever. And then he got into the drama club when he was in high school. So he was in 10th grade. I was in 7th grade. And one day I delivered my papers. I went home and delivered my papers. That's how it worked. I get out of school. I go home. The papers would be there. I go out and deliver them quick and then get home to do homework or hang out with friends, whatever I was doing that afternoon. But I always got the papers out of the way so I could just, all right, I'm done with that. Now I'm free the rest of the day. So one day I went to the high school. I had nothing to do that day, and I figured, oh, let me check out my brother. He's going to be in this high school play. I'm just going to go watch them in rehearsal and see what they do. I just out of curiosity to see what my brother was doing. And I was taller. I've always been, I think, pretty much since I was born, I've been taller than my brother. It's just the way it's been. I've always been taller than him, even though he's 3 years older. So I went to the school, and this is 1984, 83, maybe 83. And, this was before every school had security guards and you didn't have to sign in. You could just walk in. And, again, I was taller than him, so I probably, I wasn't that much different from the kids that went to the high school as far as size was concerned. So I blended in. I went in, sat down in the auditorium. I was just watching what they do. I'm watching them build the sets. Like I said, I'm not handy, but I love watching that stuff and seeing how they build sets and how they put things together. Even now, I love that kind of stuff. So I'm just watching them. They're building a set over here. They're building a piece over here. This one's working on a song over here. These two are rehearsing lines. And I just found it all fascinating. And I'm just watching it all. I'm just sitting in the auditorium watching it. All of a sudden, this girl comes up out of nowhere. Anna is her name. I don't even know how she saw me. I don't know how long she was standing there. She just goes, hey, we need some extras in the play. You want to do it? Just like that. I was like, okay. I didn't know any better. I woke up, and they're starting to teach me some stuff that I have to do. At this point, I was probably there for an hour. I never even saw my brother this whole time. They're teaching me some bits and things I have to do. Sure, finally, he comes walking in. Well, I don't even know where he was, but he comes walking in. He does one of these. I just, hi. And he's like, that's my brother. He's not even in this school. What are you doing? They didn't care, and I didn't care. So I was in that show. It was, a funny thing happened on the way to the Forum. Most recently done on Broadway with Nathan Lane. The movie was Zero Mostel. Movie wasn't really that good. I think Zero Mostel played it on Broadway too. I think he was the most famous guy that did it. But more recent, but that was back in like the 50s or 60s. More recently, probably in the late 90s, Nathan Lane did it. Great show, very funny show. So I had a great time, and I didn't really have much to do. I was just an extra. I didn't really do much, but I just enjoyed it. And I stayed even though I was in junior high, I stayed in the high school drama club for a few years. Then I went out of it for a while, and then in my senior year of high school, I got back in, and because I was a senior, you're graduating, just like in a sports team, right? All the starting players are the seniors because they're not going to have this next year. So it was the same thing in plays. They gave all the seniors all the good parts. So I got some good parts. I did Brighton Beach Memoirs. I did Anything Goes. We did some other plays. And I was getting some good roles. So I was enjoying the roles, but I was also enjoying, why do we do anything, right? I was enjoying the attention of girls. I never had attention from girls before. And that's when I was like, oh, this is a good thing. And then it just went from there. Then when I got out of high school, I acted some more locally. Got out of it again for a little while when I got married the first time and was, working a lot, trying to, save money for a house, all that good stuff. But I missed it too much. And that's when I got into doing dinner theater and murder mysteries. 96, 97, something like that. And that was the first thing I did when I decided to get back into it. I tried out for a dinner theater company. The very first show, I was like, holy shit, this is great. I love this. And still love it, still love doing it. And it's actually how I met my wife, how I met Lisa, doing a dinner theater show. So it's worked out quite well. Quite well. Joel, my paper out was a mobile home park. 72 trailers. It was like 3 blocks. Mrs. Constantini always tipped 50 cents a week, my biggest tipper. Yeah, a really good tip was like $1 or $2. Yeah. Yep. I got a job on a newspaper out so nobody would accuse me of hoarding, says Frender. I never understood why they couldn't make a bicycle seat a bit more taint-friendly. Oh, Frender. Bicycle seats were made for vaginas. The only door you're going to stay in at Newsday is the one with those 2 chicks in the lingerie. Oh, got it. Mary, got to go. It's been a great show listening to your stories. Happy to come on the show when I'm back in New York or online. Mary, do you come here often or regularly? Yeah, we'd definitely love to have you on sometime. Murder mysteries, like the movie Clue. Kinda. Yeah, murder mysteries, comedic murder mystery shows, audience interactive. We have about 6 or 7 people in our cast. We have a few different shows. We have a redneck wedding. We have a felony, a mob show. We have a few different themes, but they're all murder mysteries. About 6 or 7 people in the cast. You see what's going on. It's a scripted show. You see what's going on in the show, and the relationships the characters have with each other. One of them gets killed in front of the audience. Then the audience has to guess who committed the crime based on everything they saw in the show. And we lead them through it. We all, we figure it out. There's music and dancing. We have a blast, Joel. Joel, are you local? Are you Long Island? We're going to be here at Governor's soon. A few more minutes, and I'll be giving out all the dates and stuff. All right. So I spent a lot more time today on the negative stuff than I had planned on. So we have a little under 10 minutes left. I'm going to try and get through some of this stuff because I have one more negative thing to talk about. And I still have the positive stuff to talk about. So, because I want to get your guys' opinion on something. You know what? You know what I'll do? I'm going to save that. I'm going to save that for Friday when Andy's here. That's what I'm going to do. All right. I'm going to save that for Friday with Andy. Tomorrow we are here tomorrow for the 4th of July. We are here. Frank will be here with us. Janine Wilms, Michelle Savory, Joseph Borghese. They'll be joining Frank and me tomorrow. The 4 of them have a little singing group where they perform the national anthem at functions, like a ball game or things like that. So they're gonna and now I think it's Janine and Joseph. They also have their own little duo or band. They play together in some capacity. So they're going to come in tomorrow. They're going to sing the national anthem for us, and then we're going to talk to them a little bit. And then we do have another surprise towards the end of the show, a special announcement that we're going to make towards the end of the show. So that's tomorrow. And then, of course, me and Andy will be here on Friday. Yeah, so there's a few things I'm going to save for Friday. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm going to save a few things for Friday with Andy. One thing I want to mention. I'm going to talk about on Friday. That's when I said before that I was talking about John Blenn. I saw John Blenn on Sunday at a movie premiere, a movie called Pancakes and Syrup. I'll get more into that on Friday with Andy. But the movie stars Tom Daddario and Rob, whose last name I always screw up, Cividanis. I'll ask him on. Tom and Rob are coming in on Monday to promote their movie. It played at a film festival in New York City this past weekend, and they won an award. And then they had a private screening on Sunday here on Long Island. Don Sill and I went, and we had a great time. We enjoyed the movie quite a bit. It's called Pancakes and Syrup. Tom Daddario, he's been here at the club many times. So Rob and Tom will be here Monday with me. where they're going to talk about the movie, and hopefully we can show a clip or something. So that's on Monday. So yeah, that's it, I guess. So yeah, so that's where we saw John Blenn, was at that movie premiere. I'll show you this quick picture. Don and I hanging out with John. Great. We had a great time. Again, I'll get more into that on Friday. I had a couple other things I'm going to get into on Friday. We have, like I mentioned, we're going to have a special announcement tomorrow on tomorrow's show. We have some more announcements coming your way soon about some great things that are going to be happening here. And one thing I am going to do before we go. So I mentioned earlier Michael Zinn, who was watching earlier. I don't know if he still is, but I'm just, to end today's show before we sign off, Michael Zinn. So my son, in fact, I'm wearing the shirt. Want list, a love-ish story. This movie, made by Deborah Markowitz, who sat right in this chair a couple of months ago, hung out with us, had a great time with her. This is a project that she's been working on. It stars our very own Travis Grant, who you can see on Treading Water every Monday. Travis Grant and Hugh Murray. Travis Grant is in this movie. My son worked on this movie. He was part of the crew, and he loved it. He's thrilled to be working for Deborah now. In fact, they did something the other day, and they're working again next week. My son is actually already doing some assistant directing on some of their projects, which is very exciting. So they were working the other day. I think it was Monday. They were working on a project on Monday. In fact, I'll show you this picture. So that's Zach. The clapboard. Take 5. That's Zach holding it. If you look all the way to the other side of the picture, you see Travis in the back there. In front of Travis, behind that guy doing the horns there. But yeah, that's that on that guy's shoulder. That's Deb Markowitz, and then behind Zach is John Maureen. That's Deb's husband. He's a director. He's an actor. And a great teacher as well. Zach actually had him as a teacher in college. So they're working on this project, and the photographer, the guy who took this picture, he was there all day taking pictures of what's going on in the movie. He goes up to Zach, and he goes, "Hey, I just want to let you know, man." He goes, "I've been watching." He goes, "You're doing a great job here, man. You're really working hard. I'm really impressed." And it made Zach's day. It really made his day that somebody took notice of, took notice of his hard work. So when he came home that night, he was telling me about it. I was like, "Oh, that's cool. They're very excited for you. That's great." So the next day, in the midst of dealing with all my, flooding and hot water tank issues, I think it was while I was eating lunch or something, I went on Facebook and I saw Michael Zinn, who was commenting earlier. Michael Zinn runs a podcast studio in Plainview. Michael, I apologize, I don't recall the name of it. But it's where Stand Up Memories, Jackie Martling and Peter Bales, it's where they film their show. And they do a great job over there. And Michael's a great dude. But I saw on Facebook the next day, he posted pictures from that day, the movie set. So I was like, "Oh, Michael was there?" So when I saw Zach later that day, I showed him that post. I was like, "Do you know this guy?" He goes, "Yeah, that's the photographer. That's the guy I told you about, the one that came up to me and said I was doing a great job." I was like, "Son of a bitch, you didn't tell me it was the photographer." Well, and then on top of it, I didn't know Michael was the photographer. So I said to Zach, I know that guy. So, all right, hang on a second. I don't know. I got a phone call. Phone call coming in, but I'm on the air. If you're my friend Tony. Tony, if you're watching, give me 5 minutes, and then we're off. My guess is you're not watching because you're making the call to me. All right, hang on. Let me tell him. Hey. Oh, there it is. Door is locked. Give me 5 if you can. I'm on the air, you bastards. Oh, boy, I got a whole bunch of texts. What is going on here? All right. So anyway. All right, he left me a voicemail. All right, I know you're here, pal. I know you're here. I'm just doing my show. Frank C. says he knows Michael's in. Not well, but nice guy. Yeah, he is. He's a great guy. Do couples still go to the movie theater to make out, or is that old-fashioned now? Who cares? Just do it anyway. I like 50s and 60s movies, all older actors, hardly any young people or children. I'm in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Oh, wow. Professor Plum with the wrench in the library. Yeah, that's our murder mysteries. All right, get us a job in Michigan, Joel, and we'll come do a show there. Yeah, so I reached out to Michael. I was like, Mike. He's like, that was my, I told him the whole thing. I said, that was my son you were talking to. So, small world. So, so anyway, so I thought that was cool. Yeah, this is a shirt that I got from Deb Markowitz from Want List. They're currently working on another project, so congratulations to them and good job to my son. And I thought that was really cool that someone told him he was doing a good job, and it turns out I know the guy. So congratulations, and I'm proud of my boy. And I'm also proud of my daughter. This is a picture of my daughter taken the other day. She went to Splish Splash, which is a water park on the east end of Long Island. Her mother took her. They had a great time. The reason I'm showing you this picture is because I don't have a picture from her bowling league from not this past weekend, the weekend before. The season ended. It's basically a school calendar. They start in September. They go to the end of June. And her team took first place. So they got trophies. Oh, and she got a trophy for in the girls category for the highest average. So just wanted to congratulate my girl on coming in first place and doing a great job. So there you go. All right, those are the two things I just wanted to mention quickly. Happy 4th of July. Whatever you guys have planned, I hope you're still able to watch us tomorrow morning as we have Frank and some special guests coming in. They're going to sing. To be our usual Thursday music thing as we honor our country and say thank you. And we hope it's a good start to your day as you celebrate after that. We look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. All right. So we're going to get out of here. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Glad to be back. Wow, she is gorgeous. You're talking about my daughter, your son? No, I'm kidding. No, thank you, John. We have a theater downtown. Used to be the Bromart. Bromart? I don't know what that is. But, yeah, if they're a decent theater and they're willing to pay for us to come out, we'd love to do it. Zach should go hang out at Grumman Gold Coast Studios where they film Marvel movies. Yeah, he's actually tried that. They don't, you can't just walk in and hang out. They have all sorts of security there. You can't, you barely get past the gate if that far. So, all right. But thank you for the suggestion. Have a fantastic day. You too, Joel. Everybody have a great day. Before we go, just let me mention quickly, so I don't know if Coffee with the Dog is on tomorrow. He probably is. We're on at 11. I do believe Circling the Drain will still be on tomorrow night. Maybe we'll put them on earlier because they record Wednesday night. So I'm assuming they're still recording tonight. Maybe I'll throw them on tomorrow afternoon because, they usually come on at 7? That's probably too late. You guys will be enjoying your 4th. So maybe I'll put them on earlier tomorrow. And then that's it for Thursday. And then, of course, Coffee with the Dog Friday morning. Me and Andy Friday morning. Donversations. Don, I think this week is Adam Gable, comedian Adam Gable, I think. Or was that last Friday? It's going to be a great show. He's got Irene Bremis coming up. He's got Greg Vaccarello coming up. He's got some great shows. So keep it locked here. At Gov's Comedy Club Podcasts. Again, we got our show tomorrow. We'll also be making a special announcement. And, of course, don't forget Gov's Comedy Clubs. Just some of the, let's see. What do we got this weekend? Elliot Chang, Sean Brown, Drew Covella, Fat J, Ivory C. Fields. Just some of the comedians you'll see on the Governor's stage this weekend. But coming up, we've got a lot of great stuff coming up at Governor's Clubs. Let's see. Here we go. Chris Monty, July 12th in the Giggle Room. Chris Monty, July 13th at the Brokerage. Also July 13th in the Giggle Room, the Joke Dealers. Ivory Fields is a part of that. Frank Viala, our pal Saku Ali. Don't forget, Gov's Comedy Podcast presents Clash of the Islands, Staten Island and Long Island. Mike Pachetti, Greg and Rob, Tony Landolfi, Irene Bremis. That is July 19th. Please come to that because that's me. producing it. Don Sill as well. July 20th at McGuire's Bohemia. The one and only Joey Cola is performing there. And he's also got a date here in the Governors in Levittown sometime in August. Don't forget July 25th, the Long Island Laugh-Off at McGuire's in Bohemia. Our very own Andy Plajanos will be performing. He needs people to show up and support him. He needs you to vote for him so that he goes on to fortune and fame. Thursday, August 8th, our very own Mark David Hirschman performing a special night. It's a stand-up for epilepsy night. Why he wants people to get epilepsy, I have no idea. Sit down and don't have epilepsy. But come to the show and support the cause. Obviously it's going to some kind of epilepsy organization. I'm just being stupid. But yeah, support this special night. I will be performing. I'll be doing a short set that night, 5 minutes. Looking forward to that. That's going to be a fun night. September 27th at the Brokerage in Belmore. Join Knockem Dead Comedy for a fun, hilarious, audience interactive murder mystery show. It's a redneck wedding. We're going to have a great time. The very next night, September 28th, join Knockem Dead Comedy right here at Governor's in the Giggle Room. It's our Triple X Trivia Night. It's going to be a fun game show with some prizes. Ooh. Saturday, October 5th, Gov's Comedy Podcasts presents. That's me and Don producing the show, so please come. Claudia Sherman, Gretchen Comer, they're known as the Down and Outs. They're very funny. You're going to have a lot of fun with them. Nancy Parker is featuring, and I'm hosting that. That's going to be a fun night. December 21st at McGuire's in Bohemia, Knockem Dead Comedy again. Another great, hilarious murder mystery show. Still the redneck wedding, but this time at McGuire's. Please go to govs.com to make your reservations to some great comedy shows. Go to knockemdeadcomedy.com to check out what Knockem Dead Comedy's got happening, as well as information on how you can hire us for your corporate event, your private party, your fundraiser, any type of party. We're there. And then last but not least, don't forget Nikki Glazer, her second HBO special, currently streaming on Max. It's called Someday You'll Die. And I'll probably stop announcing that after this week because I've heard nothing about her coming on the show. So there you go. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Thanks for coming back with us. And we'll see you tomorrow on the 4th. Great way to start your 4th off by hanging out with us. And we'll have some great musicians and some laughs. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. See ya.